Marches, heard the calls for action and felt the heavy emotions caused by racism in our country.
And communities of color are facing barriers in their daily lives, but how do we work together to eliminate the things that divide us? Our Marc Thompson has more.
That's one of the things that I've been doing a lot of work with is helping people realize that not having the answer is not a reason to not enter the conversation.
Eric Bailey is the president and CEO of Bailey Strategic Innovation Group. He works to help companies and organizations talk about diversity in the workplace and the impact racism can have on employees of color.
And so there are a lot of things, a lot of microaggressions, a lot of micro racist comments or thoughts or behaviors that folks are dealing with and have acclimated to them, right? They let them wash over them.
Bailey says those dealing with racism in the workplace can experience stress and other health-related issues that affects their ability to do their job. He says having the tough conversations helps break down barriers in communication.
The first and most important thing to do is to create a culture of safety so that everyone has an opportunity to share their experience, good, bad, indifferent, but to share their experience safely without judgment. And what I mean by everyone, I mean literally everyone.
Bailey believes creating a culture of safety can eliminate fears of retaliation and help move a company forward in the right direction. Racism, he says, doesn't just impact our jobs, it also impacts our children and their education. Roy Dawson, the executive director of the Arizona Center for African American Resources, says it's important to have more teachers of color in the classroom.
Race matters in education. And so when you are in Arizona, our children can go from pre-K through college and never see an African-American teacher or never have one in their class. That says a lot about how you think about who you are. And that is another issue associated with well-being.
According to the Arizona Department of Education, out of nearly 60,000 certified teachers to self-report in the 2018-2019 school year, 15% identified as Hispanic or Latino, and just over 3% identified as Black or African American. New research shows that experiencing racism can impact the way a person's brain functions, leading to health issues like memory loss.
People who had reported experiencing the most racism tended to have the worst scores on this cognition measure.
Lynn Rosenberg, a professor and researcher at Boston University, helped facilitate the study. She says more research on the negative impacts of racism needs to be done.
We can only hope that after the evidence keeps building, that there'll be more awareness of this, not just in the medical community, but among politicians and voters and so on.
In Phoenix, Marc Thompson, ABC 15, Arizona.
Now, across the U.S., local and state leaders are now declaring racism as a public health crisis in an effort to advance research, resources, and other strategic forms of action. We're going to have more on that next Tuesday and also hear from the Arizona organization stepping up to lead the way.